Okay, Shalom. First and foremost, start off by giving all the higher praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekrak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders, single honors to the apostles, prayers and teaching us the word of truth. And with sincerity, as always, and without any further ado, I'm just going to get into this lesson here. It's going to go into some things that's been happening around this world right now. A lot has been going on. Which, if you've been paying attention, you should already know. So this is nothing new to brothers who already know, the elect who already knows of the elect. It's for the elect. And yeah. And this is Sirach 2 and 3. Stay with the Lord, never abandon him, and you will be prosperous at the end of your days. Yeah, because of all this going on, shit is gonna get more crazy out here, more real out here. Hey, love of many's waxing cold. And this nation's preparing for war. Wars, rumors of wars. All these things must come to pass. The persecution of this word is going to come, especially for us prophets who are gotta move a certain way. We ain't just moving anyway out here. More than your average person out here, because we are under the law. To the best of our ability, we are keeping that law. So Sirach 2 and 3 in the GNT, stay with the Lord, never abandon him, and you will be prosperous at the end of your days. Never abandon him. So we know we're gonna be good if we stay with the Lord, if the Lord permits for us to stay with him. Especially as things get more real, as we're in these times now, as things get more real. The Lord ain't going to abandon us, and he's going to prosper us at the end of our days, because the Lord is going to look out for his elect. All right, okay. So this is Haggai 1 in verse 11. And I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. So that's what the Lord is going to bring. Plagues. The Lord is still sending plagues. Plagues, that's famine plagues, food plagues, all kinds of plagues, man, that the Lord is sending. And so we're going to be put to the test. Our faith will be put to the test. Even Moses' faith was put to the test when he was brought. Well, not brought, but when he was faced with the situation, or brought to that predicament he was in when Pharaoh was chasing after him. And he had to lean on the Lord, or have faith, or lean upon the Lord, or have faith. And so that's how I imagine our faith is going to be tested. The Lord ain't just going to make it easy. It's you can have faith that the Lord will make a way for you, but I wouldn't be in the mindset of the Lord's just gonna make it all easy throughout all of this, especially as it gets harder, as these things continue to escalate. Because if you believe in this truth in this word, Esau's still going to come down upon us. He's gonna come down. He's gonna come to your house and gather you up. For most of us, that may just be the case. That may be our lot, and I'm not gonna try to say. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen to you exactly. To whoever may listen to this, but you just never know. You gotta have a mindset of that could happen to me, or maybe that could not happen to me. But for the most part, that could happen to me. Esau can bust through the door, the windows as a flood, and then you'll have to be taken. You could be taken, and in some cases, they're just gonna execute those that they find as well. So that could happen as well. Deuteronomy 28:31. Your cattle will be butchered before your very eyes, but you will not eat any of the meat. Your donkeys will be dragged away while you look on, and they will not be given back to you. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and there will be no one to help you. 32. Your sons and your daughters will be given as slaves to foreigners while you look on. Every day you will strain your eyes, looking in vain for your children to return. 33. A foreign nation will take all the crops that you have worked so hard to grow, while you receive nothing but constant oppression and harsh treatment. 34. Your sufferings will make you lose your mind. Yeah, so that's what we're going to get ready to go through. That's what we're already going through every day, these curses. Jumping on to 48. So then you will serve the enemies that the Lord is going to send against you. You will be hungry, thirsty, and naked, and in need of everything. The Lord will oppress you harshly until you are destroyed. And on this side, the Lord is going to save us. We got to have faith in that, though. Because there's times when you really can't tap into the Spirit and you don't have that much faith. And you're just complaining and don't really want to deal with any brother or any people. And I felt like that this morning. You could be listening to a video and it's just not really hitting your spirit. Like you just ain't in the mood. You just ain't tolerating any bullshit. So that happens, bro. But the Lord won't keep you in that spirit. The angels of the Lord watch over us. You sincerely elect out there because the Lord's and the angels watch over you, and it could feel like sometimes the Lord ain't watching you or looking out for you because you just ain't tapped into the spirit. You ain't tapping into the spirit as you would love to, because we're not perfect. So ultimately, it's up to you to have faith that the Lord, you are of the elect. The Lord is gonna make you this sun come up upon you, and He's gonna have faith upon you, toward you, and deliver you. Even now with this shit we go through, the curses we walk to see, all this death and darkness that we see, going to where you go and back home and in day-to-day life while things are still running right now. Because once again, we're still under the curses. This is why this is Deuteronomy 28, and I just read 48 there. I read some of it again. And in need of everything, the Lord will oppress you harshly until you are destroyed. So we've been catching our hair, and the Lord is going to deliver us. All these, ultimately, you got to remember, all these plagues and these destructions is for these people to get judged. If the Lord didn't choose them. Hence why most of these people, the average person, common folk out here, they're not going to get this word. It's not resonating. It's not going to be received in their minds to get it. You see, so this is verse 50. They would be ruthless and show no mercy to anyone young or old. And that's how Esau is going to get down again. That's going to come back. That was 70 AD 2.0 again. It's going to come back. This happened as well in the time of Columbus when he came. That was another 70 AD moment. Even before 70 AD, you had the first 70 AD. That was with the first when the Babylon. That was with the first Babylonians who came in the first Babylonian kingdom. Nebuchadnezzar, who came into Judah and destroyed it. Before them, they were the Assyrians, destroyed the northern kingdom, northern tribes. That was already his back to back to back repeat of that. All that 70 AD. So when you go into Lamentations, the prophet Jeremiah prophet spoke on what he saw there. I think it's in Lamentations 4, where it talks about the woman ate their children because of the hunger. Lamentations 4. Lamentations 4 and 4. The tongue of the infants. This was when the Babylonian siege and Judah fell. I think that was around 580 something BC, 580 something BC. It says Lamentations 4 and 5. Those who are ate delicacies are desolate in the streets. Those who were brought up in scarlet embrace ash heaps. 6. The punishment of the people of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, which was overthrown in a moment with no hand to help her yet. Because when you look at our people today, most of them are faggots. Most of them are lesbians. Whereas in the past life, when we had our land and our laws, they wouldn't have thought of, even if they had that demon in them, they wouldn't have thought of even crossing that line to do that, because there would be laws to smoke their ass, kill their ass, stone their asses if they were to do that. Whereas in today America, we can't do that. We can't stone a wicked ass nigga, rebellious son who's a nigga, who's a faggot, who likes to talk back, not keep these laws, statutes, commands, because Esau will allow it. Esau doesn't discourage it. If any, it doesn't, he doesn't discourage that shit. If anything, he upholds that shit. He encourages it. Hence why a lot of our people, a lot of our men and women are faggots, dykes, lesbians. You got a lot of dykes in the tribe of Judah. Like, that's the top tribe, and you would think that wouldn't be a thing, because Judah's the top tribe. That's the tribe Yahushua is from. But a lot of the women, the same woman in his tribe there, down here on the earth, they are dykes. Some of them are, there's grown Judite dudes who are pedophiles. There's Issacharites, men, old men who are pedophiles, bro. Bro, and I got a testimony on that, because I remember one time when I went to court and there was an old Issacharite in there. I didn't know him. I wasn't related to him, but other than we come from the same tribe, and he was an Israelite too, which I'm ashamed to say. It's a shame to say, but he was in there because of him being accused of touching this little girl, and I believe he did do that. There's Issacharites that are pedophiles, bro. There's dudes and grown Judite dudes in jail right now, old ass Judite dudes in jail right now who are in there for touching kids. You got testimonies of certain family members who may have known someone in your family who touched one of your nephews who was a pedophile, bro. So yeah, bro, like, that shit is real, and that's why this place needs to be destroyed, bro. If you want to live in the world of pedophiles, you want to live it up here, you might as well be a part of that, because I don't want to be here. I'm just saying like that. And anyone who has a situation with that, I mean, ultimately getting mad at the word of the Lord, Yahweh, the creator, Yahweh Shah. All right? So yeah. Those who ate delicacies are desolate in the streets. The point has been made there. That's why Abishai has to come. I'm gonna get on the videos now. So the Lord's sending plagues. You got these violent protests erupts in Cuba as feud with U.S. intensifies. I'm play the video here. So these are the protests in Cuba. Pretty sure this is still happening right now. They still haven't turned this protest down right now, so it's in progress still.
We're dads, which is a lot of things.
Oh yeah, and not just that, you got a woman that want to be whores. They don't know how to be a female. They don't know how to be feminine. They got all kinds of tattoos all on their body, which that's off. A woman that has tattoos, I mean, it's not attractive to me. Me personally, I don't really like that. But yeah, a woman that got tattoos on them, they think that's the stuff. Certain of our men that just cater to the woman. They bow, their woman is God. They bow to the woman. They say yes to anything that their woman says to them. They don't know how to be a man, which is actually putting your foot down and saying no more than not. And women need that. Because just like we need guidance, and the Lord has to tell us, step in and put his foot down and tell us no, that's the same with how the woman needs her man, which is basically her God. Her God ain't the Most High. So the man is the one that's going to play the part to put his foot down and tell her woman no. Yeah, your woman literally looks down on you as a man if you don't do that, know how to do that. But yeah, going back to this, so this is a sign as well from the Lord.
Hi. Violence is erupting in Cuba as protesters torch Communist Party offices, throw rocks, and chant against the regime in a rare show of defiance. Havana is opening talks with the Trump administration while a deepening energy and economic crisis grips the island. Madeline Rivera has the latest from here in D.C. Hi, Madeline.
Hi, Rich. Cuba is facing a growing humanitarian crisis as it struggles with fuel shortages. Anger over rolling blackouts and a shortage of food are culminating in protests. There are reports of anti-government demonstrators attacking a Communist Party office in central Cuba. Videos on social media showed fire and people throwing rocks through the windows of a building. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel addressed the protests, saying it is understandable that the prolonged blackouts cause distress in our town as a consequence of the U.S. energy blockade, cruelly intensified in recent months. But he goes on to say for vandalism and violence, there will be no impunity. Cuba's power outages got worse after the U.S. seized Nicolas Maduro in January, ending Venezuela's shipments of oil to the island. President Trump has also threatened to impose tariffs on any country that supplies oil to Cuba. And since then, airlines have restricted services to the island because they can no longer refuel. Classes have been suspended, and government employees are working remotely to try and preserve energy.
We can't stand because the situation in Cuba is very difficult. It's very hard, this situation. We're suffocating in this situation.
Facing pressure, President Diaz-Canel says he spoke with President Trump last week. Diaz-Canel indicated the point of the talks was to find common ground to ensure the security of both the U.S. and Cuba. President Trump says Cuba needs to make a deal.
Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money. They have no oil. They have a bad philosophy. They have a bad regime that's been bad for a long time.
Public protests are rare in Cuba, where there is no specific law to regulate these types of demonstrations, so it leaves those who are arrested in legal limbo. Rich.
Madeline Rivera live for us. Madeline, thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here.
So I know you just saw the video there, but I'm just Google this anyway. What is happening right now in Cuba? Cuba is currently navigating a severe national emergency characterized by a total collapse of its electrical grid and escalating diplomatic tensions with the U.S. As of March 17th, 2026, the island is grappling with its third major nationwide blackout in 4 months, leaving approximately 10 million people in darkness. Yeah, they're not even covering the shit that's happening right over there right now. I mean, if this just happens, it's probably not as crazy right now, but if this grid blackout lasts longer over there, which is probably already going crazy over there by now because people over there don't have as much shit as people over here in America have. Shit, in lamest terms, stuff. Right? So, while partial restoration began in some provinces by Tuesday morning, many areas remain without power. Actually, this happened Monday, I think. So that's a bit of news there on what's going on over there with that. Slovakia.
Do you support Israel?
Yeah, this happened Monday then, yeah, because this video came out on this video came out on the 15th, so this probably happened Sunday. So that's what's going on over there. Then that's in the book of Ezra. Uproars of the people. Uproars of the people. Yeah. Thought I had no article. And then you had this snow. A heavy snow warning as up to 30 inches to strike. Stay indoors. This was on Sunday. Warns people in 9 states, including Alaska and Hawaii, to stay indoors until conditions improve. Wisconsin. So these are a couple of spots that got hit with the snow. Some 20 inches of snow, 50 miles per hour. Some got 11 inches of snow, 45 miles per hour. So this was all of the Lord here. Minnesota, Michigan, South Dakota, North Dakota. North Dakota got between 5 to 9 inches of snow, and the winds are reaching 45 miles per hour, which I was outside of the city I live in Michigan, some city in Michigan. And I felt the wind last night was a pretty strong ass wind. It was pushing the car door and myself as I was getting inside the vehicle. So yeah, that's a plague from the Lord, you can say. And that's a Montana got hit, Hawaii. The winds over there got up to 20 inches of snow and winds reaching up to 100 miles per hour. So these were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are like 8 states here. They just named that got hit with this plague here. Plague of snow, plague of strong wind there. Then you got this extraordinary climate change fueled heat wave develops in the West with mounting consequences. For this time of the year, that it could leave some locations shattering their all-time temperature records for April before that month has even begun. This extreme event, made far worse by human-caused climate change, will bring summer-like temperatures during March to locations from California to Texas, northward all the way to Montana. Extreme heat warnings and other heat alerts are in effect for millions from San Francisco to Phoenix, and are likely to expand with time. So this is an extreme heat. These extreme heat events may be comparable in its intensity and rarity to the 2021 Pacific Northwest heat wave, which killed hundreds and sent temperatures soaring in the 120s. So that's from Yahweh Shemashai right there. They said that 2021 heat wave, this one coming up is, that's possibly it is already going on. Killed it's gonna be like the one, its intensity will be like the one in 2020 that happened in 2021 that actually killed people. If you actually heard what I just said right there. But yeah, they're calling it, this video too as well, from Leon goes into it. The title is Climate Alert. Here. The title is Climate Alert. This came out on the last week Thursday. It says Climate Alert, possibility of Super El Nino later this year. And really, I would say it's already happening, because I saw another video. Just hold on, bear with me. Record heat wave scorches California. Yeah, so they're lying, and when they said this is going to happen later this year, it's already happening. This video here that came out 5 hours ago. But I'm going to play this one first.
Medium-range weather forecast has now warned that the planet could see a strong or super El Nino this year. It is raising fears of extreme weather and record temperatures as well. So what will be the impact of this phenomena? A potential super El Nino threatens India with severe heat waves and below normal monsoon rains. In India, El Nino events are often linked to below average monsoon rainfall. This can affect agriculture, water resources, and overall economic activity. It usually has the opposite impact of La Nina, a climate pattern that is generally associated with stronger monsoon rains across Indian subcontinent. The World Meteorological Organization has indicated a global signal for above average land surface temperatures during the March to May period. India is already experiencing this trend. According to the Indian Meteorological Department, several regions are facing heat wave to severe heat wave conditions. Mumbai has already recorded its hottest March day since 2020.
And so that's a play from the Lord.
It does. It's a tale of two seasons, really, along the two coasts. The
spring heat wave across Southwest to break records for March. Time.
East Coast, the eastern half of the country, you can make the argument, dealing with this colder air mass. And we're taking a look at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City, right along Fifth Avenue. The St. Patrick's Day Parade happening. Now, the West Coast, it's a different story. Doesn't it just look like summer? But we're still in winter here, folks. This was Monday in Los Angeles as that sun's rising. You see a little bit of that haze. People even in Phoenix, Arizona, they're getting ready for what people in LA are dealing with. Take a listen to what some residents in the Valley of the Sun had to say.
It's way too hot for March.
It's way too early.
Arizona's, we don't go out until the sun comes down. Once the sun is gone, we go out and we play. During the day, we let the devil have his playground, because that's what it feels like, hell.
I couldn't say it better myself. It's so true. And temperatures in Phoenix, we know, can get well into the triple digits, but not this time of year. It typically doesn't happen until early May. So this is a historic ridge of high pressure that's going to build record strength for this time of year, more typical of what we see during the peak of summer. So as a result, temperatures will be soaring. Phoenix, Las Vegas, Los Angeles could flirt with the triple digits later this week, maybe as early as today's Tuesday, tomorrow. Thursday through Sunday, that appears to be the crux, the worst of the heat. And in ways, you can call this unprecedented given the time of year. Obviously, we've had a temperature of 106 in Phoenix before, but when our first 100-degree day doesn't happen until May 2nd, that's saying something. And it's not just in the desert Southwest or the Four Corners. This is close to Oregon, in Redding, California on Monday. We had a high temperature of 91 degrees. It was the earliest 90-degree day on record, the third warmest March day on record. So that stat, when we talk about the unprecedented nature of this, that wouldn't really qualify. And I think it's important to use your words wisely because you deal with heat. And sometimes in the weather world, it's hard to tell these stories because...
All right, so that's from the Lord. That's from the Lord right there. The Lord said he sent plagues. And you can get that in 2 Ezra 15 or 16. This is 2 Ezra 16, verse 4. If fire is sent among you, a fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Strange signs and wonders. Lord, the scriptures read. Deuteronomy, Ezekiel 5. Actually, this is Deuteronomy 11. I'm going to jump down to 12. It is a land the Lord your God cares for. The eyes of the Lord your power are continually on it from the beginning of the year to its end. 13. So if you faithfully obey the commands I am giving you today, to love the Lord your power and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. 14. Then I will send rain on your land in its season, both autumn and spring rains, so that you may gather in your grain, new wine, and olive oil. I will provide broad grass in the fields for your cattle, and you will eat and be satisfied. Be careful, or you will be enticed to turn away and worship other gods and bow to them. Yeah, and so this is what the Lord did if we obeyed and loved his commands, which we did not do. Hence why earlier I brought Deuteronomy 28. 48 on down. In need of everything, the Lord will oppress you harshly until you are destroyed. Jumping down to 52. 28, 52, they will attack every town in the land that the Lord your power has given you. And today most of Israel lives here in America. Even if they are wicked, those are the 2/3, they will be judged by this way. In certain cases, they may get killed, gunned down, famine, disease. All these things are coming. They will attack every town in the land that the Lord your power has given you, and the high fortified walls in which you trust will fall. And those high fortified walls this time around is America's. Back in that time is in the literal land of Israel, and that land had literal walls that protected it against armies. But ultimately, when Nebuchadnezzar came, the Lord put a spirit in him to be able to destroy those walls, and hence a lot of Israelites got killed in the war. And then you got the third war, which is no coincidence. That's what's going to come as well. 53. When your enemies are besieging your towns, you will become so desperate for food that you will even eat the children that the Lord your power has given you. We read some of that in the book of Lamentations. But here, this is Lamentations, the 3rd chapter. Well, let me find it. Bear with me. This is... Well, I can't find it, but there's one scripture that talks about the woman ate their children in Lamentations. This happened even in this time. And even before this time, it's an account of that in 2 Kings, I think it's 7. I think that's 2 Kings 17. Or, no, 2 Kings 12, I think, where the woman ate her children, one of her sons, as they agreed to. This is Lamentations 2 and 7. The Lord has spurned his altar. He has abandoned his sanctuary. That means his people. The Lord is going to do that again. Right now, he's still having some type of mercy on them, but they're ultimately still being even more rebellious with that time of grace the Lord has given them to receive this word and be able to be delivered. So they don't want to hear it. It's on them. Then they choose to be destroyed. That's what they're going to choose. And this is 7. He has spurned his altar, so that's why the Lord is going to have to eventually abandon this word, shut this word off, shut this period of grace off, and then they're going to have to learn it by pain, as it says in 2 Ezra, the 9th chapter, who receive benefits and have not known me. He has given up the walls of her palaces into the hand of the enemy. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as on the day of a set feast. And you got verse 14 here. Your prophets have seen for you false and deceptive visions. Yeah, that's why you can go to any church right now today, and the pastor up there, he's gonna be singing songs and messages of hope, messages of peace. When the scriptures say there is no peace, if he's actually speaking this true word of Yahweh Bashim Ashai, it's gonna make him hesitate to even speak it in this flesh, because the true words of Yahweh Bashim Ashai, a lot of them are warnings, threats, and offenses, because the Lord's offending us right on a righteous tip, on the right hand, so we can get right and repent. So, because we fucked up. The elect is going to wake up though and see it. Isaiah 6 and 9. Some of our people don't want to wake up. They're not going to wake up. They don't want to wake up. A lot of our people ain't even going to see it, even when it's actually fully comes. They're still going to call on Jesus. So the Lord has smeared their minds with a hot iron that they cannot see. Lamentations 2 and 14. Your prophets have seen you false and deceptive visions. They have not uncovered your iniquity to bring back your captives, but have envisioned for you false prophecies and delusions. Yeah, like the illusion of Jesus, because they're not even speaking in the true name. So how are they even going to get the true word, the true spirit? See, the spirit of Jesus ain't really gonna care about your ignorance. The spirit of Yahushua is, if you got the spirit, if you're calling on the name Yahushua, worshiping that name, now you gotta examine your stuff, because the spirit of Yahushua commands is gonna cut our soul to the point where we examine ourselves and make the right decisions. And so that's why this is gonna happen. This is Lamentations 2. I'll just come back to this. I'll just get it. Actually, Lamentations 2. 3. He has cut off in fierce anger every horn in Israel. A horn there represents power, strength. The power and strength of Israel. And the strength of our people today is their freedom to neglect the warning, the counsel, the wisdom and knowledge, instruction of Yahweh Shai. But the Lord tells, at the same time, the Lord says, you only have anointed body families of the earth, therefore I will judge you for all your iniquities. So it doesn't matter if these 2/3 don't want to listen and get it. They're eventually going to get judged. Even if you say that's their lot to be a nigga, they're still going to get judged. It doesn't matter if that's their lot. You're still gonna have to see the bad side of the role you're playing. Because there's got to be a balance. There's a bad side and a good side to everything. If you're rich right now and you don't have Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, right now you're receiving your good side. You're good on this side. You're also still gonna receive your bad on this side. Have you received your bad on this side? The Lord's gonna measure it. For the elect is good because we really haven't gotten anything on this side. We ain't getting the pray. We ain't in no high position. We ain't in no high cozy, comfortable ass lifestyle. Because sometimes we fast too, and that what that does is it makes you uncomfortable. It makes you irritable to every little thing. So, and there's nothing like a good fast to humble your ass down. It's not you're killing the flesh. Now you're forced to just think about spiritual things. This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 3. Whereas just smiling and having everything easy. And one of the things about the flesh doesn't like to be corrected. It doesn't like to be told stop. It doesn't like have a stop. So you got to force it to stop. That's why Paul speaks about. I fight my flesh to submit unto me, so the name of the Lord ain't profaned. And so it says in Lamentations 2, verse 3, he has cut off in fierce anger every horn in Israel. And so the Lord is going to did on this time. He's going to do it again. He did this about 2,000 something years ago. He's going to do it again. He did this he's still doing this now on a lower level. Soon he's going to do it on a physical level on present day. Soon he has drawn back his right hand from it. His right hand represents his power. The power is going to be in his anger. He's going to show soon revealed to the rebellious of Israel from before the enemy. It's talking about the missiles now. That's another judgment. It's going to pertain on to 2/3. He has blazed against Jacob like a flaming fire, devouring all around. And that's literal there. That's literal missiles there. How the Lord's going to purify this place and this land for all its wickedness. Because the law says as well, if blood be shed on the land, it is not recompensed before the blood of the man who murdered that blood. And it talks about a whore. If the daughter of a priest, the priest is ultimately Yahweh, and the whore is 2/3 of our people who ain't trying to get right. If the daughter of a priest chooses to play the harlot, chooses to be a whore, what's the punishment for that? It's a fire. You shall be burned by fire. That's even talking to you if you're an Israelite man with a rod, with a penis. Because metaphorically, you can be committing adultery against Yahweh if you're not serving and worshiping Him, the Creator, more than the creation. You also have this going on here. From WeOn, this was 7 hours ago. A gas supply shortage in India.
Under pressure amid the ongoing conflict in West Asia, with the government flagging LPG supplies as an area of concern, but authorities have assured that there is no immediate crisis on the ground, and this is attributed to diversification and supply management. At the same time, petrol and diesel supplies remain adequate.
Most of the LPG is coming from the Gulf, and recently, just 2 or 3 months back itself, our OMCs have started taking LPG from US. So government is putting all efforts to diversify the sources of LPG. Domestic production has increased, and demand and supply side managements both are attempted by the government, along with the diversification and attempt to offer different sources, different fuel options to all the people.
The pressure on LPG supplies has led to targeted adjustments, particularly in the commercial segment. Commercial LPG supply, which was initially halted, has now been partially restored. State governments and union territories have started allocating non-domestic LPG cylinders.
3 weeks into the war in West Asia, what the US expected to be a short-lived operation is spiraling into a prolonged global crisis. As the fighting intensifies and the Strait of Hormuz remains shut, pressure is mounting on the global economy. Gas shortages are being felt worldwide, affecting industries and households alike. Amid this crisis, several countries are now considering fuel rationing measures.
A lot easier on the accelerator. Not making wasted trips.
Save what you can, and it's pretty tight out here right now. So hopefully it gets better.
The numbers keep climbing at the gas pump as tensions remain high between the U.S. and Iran. And drivers tell us they're changing their habits to try and compensate. News Channel 3's Princess Jeanne Steverson joining us live in the studio tonight. So, Princess, how does Michigan compare to the rest of the country?
Well, Jess, so far analysts say the conflict has a ripple effect on the oil market. Right now, Michigan is among the top 5 states seeing an increase in prices, according to AAA. Here in Kalamazoo, drivers are paying about $3.83, and depending on where you look on this map, numbers can climb even higher. For example, let's take a look at Kent County, which is $3.82, and another one is Clinton at $3.87. Drivers filling up in Kalamazoo say the rising cost is forcing them to rethink everyday decisions. Jay Thorpe says what used to cost him.
If you have SNAP or Medicaid, you may qualify for...
What's good is Cam here.
Now considering fuel rationing measures. In our next report, we show you how countries around the world are trying to cope with the fuel crisis. Take a look.
I cry every day. It's terrible. It's ridiculous. We deserve better attention about that. The war is causing so many problems. You know, it's who knows? Maybe next week gonna be $6 a gallon.
He said maybe next week it'll be $6, and that's possible. The Strait of Hormuz keeps on closing. And honestly speaking, bro, he's showing you how wicked these elites are. They got enough oil to pump out here in America. You're gonna tell me with all this land here in America, you don't have enough oil to pump out. And with the technology today, it would be more easier and accessible, but just showing you who the devil is. But the average folk, the average American folk out there, he's going to be like, he's gonna believe whatever this simple as news media tells you that aren't in your best interests, my dude, and run off with it like a fool. But that's all some BS. That's all some bullshit, because yeah, they don't care about you people, man. Japan is being hit by it. If you're looking at the screen, they're basically going around. It's showing you where these are getting affected. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, over there, the government's enforcing rationing to stretch limited fuel stock.
I am here from 4:30 in the morning. I don't know whether the children have eaten in the morning or not. They wouldn't have been able to go to school today. What is the solution?
That's Thailand.
It is worrying because diesel has run out at several stations. I drive a delivery truck every day, so it is concerning for me.
Bangladesh. This is happening. It's happening.
Ready to learn more about Entivio today?
They also have this. Intense lightning and thunderbolt snows caught on camera during Blizzard Elsa in Wisconsin 2 days ago. Violent weather slams U.S. snow dust storms and powerful winds. Yeah, that big ass title there. As tornado recovery begins. Unnecessary long ass title there, but that's the title. Violent weather hit multiple parts of the country, even as clean, all that fucking shit.
Tonight, just when you thought winter had thawed, heavy snow slamming the mid-Atlantic. In Richmond, Virginia, temperatures plummeting nearly 60 degrees in 24 hours after hitting a record high of 89 just yesterday. The wild weather stretching coast to coast. Multiple trucks overturned on a Wyoming highway, experiencing high winds. In Richmond, Virginia, temperatures plummeting nearly 60 degrees in 24 hours after hitting a record high of 89 just yesterday. The wild weather stretching coast to coast. Multiple trucks overturned on a Wyoming highway, experiencing high winds.
This is not good.
In Colorado, dust storms so severe, drivers had to pull over. This semi flipped on its side. In Washington state, severe winds bringing a large tree down onto this car. Authorities confirming this semi flipped on its side. In Washington state, severe winds bringing a large tree down onto this car. Authorities confirming one person was killed. Violent storms also wreaking havoc down south. Heavy winds and rain in Louisiana knocking down trees and power lines, turning them into roadblocks. In Mississippi, firefighters using chainsaws to free this driver. Drone video showing trees toppled onto homes. This after Tuesday's fatal tornado outbreak slammed the Midwest. The governors of Illinois and Indiana touring damage as cleanup crews swarm.
We're devastated. There's too many people that are really in need of help.
And tonight, people in this community are trying to kickstart the recovery process, organizing belongings into piles. Now, that home back there, that's where a couple died in Tuesday's storm, so their family cleaning up amid immense grief.
All right, cool. Apparently, from March 16th to 17th, starting Monday to today, Tuesday 17th, brought blizzard conditions over 2 feet of snow and high winds to at least 6 to 8 states, primarily in Midwest and Great Lakes. Heavily impacted states include Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Arkansas, and Florida. I'm gonna do this here. So that's Wisconsin. Certain states there. Many counties there, and Wisconsin got hit. Like 10 counties. Actually, like 15 counties there. 30 inches, 20 inches, 22 inches of snow. Minnesota. Michigan, South Dakota. That ain't on the other list I just named on Google. North Dakota. Wyoming. Alaska. Montana. Hawaii. So really it was like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was like 14 states that got hit with this crazy snow, crazy weather, shit like that, bro. And there's one more thing too that happened that I gotta bring up. This flood that happened in Hawaii as well. And certain floods that had happened here in America. You also had this tornado. Hold on, wait till I skip this dumb shit.
So I'm Stephen Holt. Allison has the night off tonight.
Title is Destructive Tornado, Hailstorm, Flash Flood over Illinois and parts of Indiana. March 11th, this was on last week, Tuesday.
And what a night it's been. A night of severe weather across the Chicago area. Destructive tornadoes tearing through parts of Illinois and into Indiana. Imagine looking at your window in your home and seeing this. Absolutely terrifying sight of what appears to be a tornado ripping through a farm field right outside of Kankakee. And not far from there in Aroma Park, the storm left a trail of destruction, completely demolishing what appears to have been someone's home. We've got more video tonight of the size of the tornado in Kankakee County, debris swirling through the air. And we're seeing more of the damage left behind, including this building, part of the roof ripped off. Check this out. Baseball-sized hail coming down in Downers Grove. People reported hail the size of 2 to even 5 inches. We have team coverage tonight across the city and the suburbs, as well as our team of meteorologists here at the NBC Tower. Let's speak with Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brant Miller, who's been following the storm all night long. Bring us up to speed, Brant.
Our storm team's in place to keep you safe, Aisha and myself, and here's what we're looking at right now. We have no active severe warnings, but we do have flash flood warnings. That's that teal box, and there was a tornado warning west of Ottawa here. That has since expired. And here's the problem. In Kankakee County, recovery efforts underway, but look, there's lightning and more storm activity. This was a very strong, long-lived tornado track. Look at this. Let's do a timeline. 4:30 in the afternoon, this is what we saw. Look at the track. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. There's the first tornado warning near Dwight. Here comes Kankakee and Aroma Park. There's Kankakee right in here. You see the hook and the tornado warning that occurred there. And then look, this crosses the state line. Still an active tornado warning. Still active tornado warning near Wheatfield, moving across northwest Indiana. Look how far this track, this is incredible. That storm is still out there near South Bend, and that track, amazing. Aisha, 100 miles, that thing was on the ground. But what's out there, what's to come? What have you got, Aisha?
Yeah, that is impressive, especially because it's, March 10th? We were just talking about this. You don't typically see this time of the year, but let's talk about what's coming our way because we've got more.
Yeah, so this is also in Michigan here. You had 4 feet of water in some areas of Grand Rapids. Massive hail plugged sewers leading to flooded streets that tracked vehicles. Illinois and Indiana, destructive tornadoes and DVD-sized hail struck northern Illinois and northwest Indiana on March 10th to 11. Kankakee County, Illinois. Texas and Louisiana, a line of severe thunderstorm blasted. This was from March 10th to today. This would have been last week Monday to today. This week Tuesday. Texas, Louisiana, a line of severe thunderstorms blasted the Houston area on March 12th with straight-line winds reaching 100 miles per hour, blowing out high-rise windows and killing at least 4 people. This one from southeast and mid-Atlantic. Over 100 million people were under weather alerts by Sunday, March 15th. Tornadoes and high winds caused widespread damage in Kentucky, Alabama, and Georgia, including fatalities from falling trees. Casualties and damage. At least 42 deaths have been reported across the country from this multi-day outbreak, which included 79 confirmed tornadoes as of March 15th. Yeah, from the 10th to the 15th, they reported 79 confirmed tornadoes. Over 700,000 homes and businesses lost power at the peak of the storms, stretching from Alabama to New York. Yeah, and that's also from, just an idea came to my mind. That could be from these elites as well, coming from them, because they got those DEW weapons, direct energy weapons, weather modification or weapons they have to make more people homeless, because that's the plan. That's the plan right now, to break this economy, destroy the middle class. They got to keep doing that, and they're going to succeed on that until Yahweh Shah returns, until Job 20 comes to pass. Yeah, because you had this article on use my other phone. It's from NBC Boston. It says major water main break floods a street in Jamaican Plain. This was in Columbus Avenue, or in Boston, yeah. If I didn't mention Boston, yeah, that's in Boston as well.
storms as we work our way through the
On rises coming up here in just a few minutes. Before we made our way out here, we were in Kankakee. We'll show you some of the damage there when we see you again. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, trying to go back and assess the damage once the daylight comes out. Jason Navarrete, let's turn now to NBC5's Randy Gyllenhaal, also in Kankakee tonight. Randy, a terrifying night for folks out there. Tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, and some of them were inside this motel when the tornado came through here, the Fairview Courts Motel. You can see it's been basically leveled. The roof has been taken off, some walls coming down. People were inside, hiding in bathrooms, in bedrooms, when this large tornado came through here. To the left, you can see even more of the debris and damage. This whole thing evacuated, and similar damage reports across the south end of Kankakee.
Granger knows that if you're a school custodian, cleanliness.
You also had a flood in Hawaii. I'm going to play this in Maui.
And some dramatic video coming out of Maui tonight. Now, a home along Eel Valley Stream collapsing into the rushing water. We spoke with the homeowner, Tom Bashaw, who moved in back in 2020. The house was built about 65 feet from the stream, and he says he never imagined flooding would become a threat. It's a stark reminder of the power of this storm and why officials say no one should underestimate the dangers still unfolding tonight.
And so there's things happening that we don't normally see.
Islands officials urge residents to stay off roads.
And it's all hands on deck because it's county-wide.
Heavy rain and flooding are creating dangerous conditions from upcountry to West and South Maui. On Honuapi'ilani Highway, rocks and waterfalls are spilling onto the road. Relentless rain has turned Iao Stream into a raging river. In Wailuku, the dog park is now a muddy lake. And in South Maui, sections of road...
And I might get this on TikTok because they ain't really getting the fucking clips they should be showing. There's way better clips than whatever the fuck they're showing. They always like to do that.
Have you ever seen a highway so fucking stupid you wonder if the engineers were drunk when they designed it? Welcome to the Michigan. This piece of shit.
Everybody, get downstairs if you're out here. Stay safe. And people in their cars are crazy. I'm going downstairs now.
Yeah, those are those CD disc hailstorm balls. It says at least 2 people have died in extreme weather in the central United States. Tornadoes and hailstorms were reported all the way from southern Texas right up to Chicago in the north, leaving widespread damage and power outages. Yeah, and I wonder why nobody who has the time, because ultimately this ain't our main focus, and we don't have time to sit down and make a compilation of all these fucking videos. That's a tedious work. Like just making this video alone, I had to pause it and search this shit up. And yeah, bro, but just for edification's sake and prophecy's sake, because most brothers right now they just grab the bigger headlines and they don't look into deeper shit and the more hidden shit that's in the corners and the sides and shit, and grab those. So that's my job, and so I'm doing this shit. But it would be awesome if somebody could actually, who ain't a prophet, ain't a man of oil, who didn't have the time to do that shit, bro. That would be cool. You should do that. But yeah, at least 2 people have died in extreme weather in the central United States. Tornadoes and heavy, yeah, because like reporting on shit like this, weather like this, which that one nigga Dylan, who has a TikTok, he used to always show clips, collages of weather and shit that would happen. Now he just speaks on stupid shit. I don't know why he just speaks on stupid shit. Yeah, stupid shit.
Get downstairs if you're out here. Stay safe. And people in their cars are crazy. I'm going downstairs now.
That's southern Texas. The size of tennis balls. Tornadoes tore through parts of Illinois and Indiana, putting 2 million people at risk. At least 2 people have been killed in the storms and 60,000 without power.
Everybody, get in, get down.
So it'll be coming to the United States this week. And this is going to bring a massive cool down to much of the country. Might feel a little bit more like winter in some areas. In addition to this, we're going to be talking about this storm that is still going to bring a threat for severe weather today. That is not over yet because more massive hail, damaging winds, and even a couple of tornadoes will be possible across the southern tier of the country. But let's talk more about this big pattern change that's coming to the country, and it's going to really be mostly about the temperatures more than anything. We don't really have much more severe weather coming this weekend, but we are going to have a massive temperature change. And as of today, we still have a warm air mass sitting on the eastern tier of the country. That'll change though as we go into Saturday into Sunday. Notice this cold air mass will come out of Canada, and this is really going to intensify because we are going to see temperatures drop well below average across the northern plains, across the Midwest, and eventually into the Ohio Valley by the late weekend. This is Sunday morning, and that cold air mass will be sitting across the northern and central plains and the Midwest. Once we go into early Monday, that cold air mass will eventually move across areas in the central plains, the Ohio Valley, and it will even reach areas like Florida, and it will reach the East Coast as we go closer to Tuesday. So this cold air mass is definitely going to pack a punch when it comes to cold air. And then once we go into Wednesday into Thursday, that cold air mass is actually going to grow in Canada. And you might be thinking that's all going to be coming down into the United States, right? Unfortunately, probably not. Unless we get some sort of low pressure system that crashes down into like the Great Plains, that'll be coming to the United States this weekend. And this is going to bring a massive cool down to much of the country. Might feel a little bit more like winter in some.
And this was actually in GR, Michigan, which is where I am. This was on 6 days ago. So this would have been on Wednesday. I was in downtown. So the Lord basically, essentially was looking out for me. So that's the water Yahweh Shemashah. So Lord look out for me there. Because that's also, I think I know where this place happens to be as well.
One more time for a tornado warning.
Yeah, I know that place.
National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning.
Yeah, I'm looking up here from during the weekend, this past weekend, 14th to the 16th. This year, significant flooding impacted at least 6 states, with major incidents concentrated in Hawaii. So Hawaii was the main one, which would make sense because Hawaii is more smaller islands and they're bigger ocean waters. In the central United States, severe weather during this period included a massive winter storm in the north and torrential rains in the south and Pacific. Hawaii, Kentucky. Heavy rain led to rising river levels across the region. Illinois, I think I mentioned that.
So it'll be coming to
on here, or maybe not. I think that's Texas. Illinois, Texas. Yeah, Illinois, Texas. Illinois near the Ohio Valley. Texas got 3 to 6 inches of floods, and then Arkansas and Missouri. So that's the spirit, man. The Lord, several parts, like 16 places here got hit with heavy snow, heavy feet of snow, up to 10 inches or more inches of snow, and up to 16 states here in America this past weekend to today, up to today. Or from, yeah, and then from this weekend to today, you have another 6 to, they didn't even mention Chicago. So these are just the ones I'm catching. There's others that I'm probably missing. Massachusetts as well, Connecticut, those got flood washes, so it possibly went over there. I'm not sure. But it says here, on March 15, approximately 33 rivers across the U.S. were in flood stage, with major flooding specifically noted as in progress within the Ohio Valley system. So that's the spirit, and it's 33 rivers across the U.S. right there. That's spiritual. And then Hawaii right now, as well as over in Cuba right now. Just like in Cuba, they're having power outages. Over here in Hawaii, they're having power outages. 130,000 people without power right now over there, evacuating still probably. Warning for a possible dam failure at Wahaiwa Dam in Hawaii. So that's the spirit. I'm also Googled how many states right now are having power outages. And so it's not just Hawaii or Cuba as well. It's as of March 17th today, major power outages are affecting at least 10 states across the Midwest and Northeast. Severe weather, including a power storm system that swept on March 16, has left roughly 380,000 to 480,000 customers without electricity nationwide. Michigan is currently experiencing the most significant disruptions, followed by several other states in the Midwest to Northeast. They're mentioning in Michigan, there's 76,000 to 131,000 power outages. In Ohio, 52,000. Pennsylvania, 24 to 30,000 outages. New York, 19 to 24,000 outages. And in Maryland, it's about 30,000 outages. In South Mississippi, about 16,000, as well as Florida and Georgia. And it's Northeast, that's Connecticut, is Vermont, New Jersey, and California as well. The most is here in Michigan. Yeah, there it mentions Texas and Chicago. Yeah, so that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14. That's a really, they said it's about 10 states. It's really about 14 states right now in experiencing power outages. So who knows other states they're not mentioning, because I just corrected them there on that number. It's more than 10, and they mentioned here in AI, Google's going off, and they only mentions 10 states. But they forgot Texas and Chicago there. They mentioned Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, Connecticut, Vermont, New Jersey, and California. They didn't mention Chicago and Texas. So that's the spirit. That's a judgment from the Lord, and it's a judgment from Yahweh Shemashah. So with that, I mean, that's really the point. I could keep going, and because there's a lot more I'm not even covering yet. As you saw, Google, it goes off, and they got their numbers are way lower than it actually is, as we saw there. So there could be other states too that's not mentioned, and this is all placed in the Lord. And I'm surprised and ashamed and disappointed that nobody has a video that can go all into these things. I'm the one having to go and seek these things and get them all one by one. Shit takes time. But yeah, gone home. That's really the point there. Shalom. Hopefully this is edifying. And the bar to bar. So that right there, what you saw there, that was real. Watching right there. That was real reporting right there. That was real reporting right there. See, these other news outlets, they're not gonna go into all those things along with the news. I imagine if there was 5 more of me, it would be all everything. Yeah, because you got to get the whole role. You got to speak on everything the Lord is mentioning, everything the Lord is professing right now. These fucking news outlets, CNN, Fox News, you're only going to speak on, continue to speak on the Iran-Israel war. Iran-Israel war. No, speak on also the plagues and the floods and the thunderstorms and the size of hailstorms, size tennis balls the Lord is sending on these fucking places. It's just mentioned right there. There's at least 14 states right now without power, and this could be more because they said 10, and I had to add another 4. They didn't meant they forgot to add their. I googled how many states got flooded this past week. They mentioned 6 states. It was really more, way more than that. Like 8. Another 2 they forgot to mention there. I mentioned how many states got crazy ass winds and snow, and there's really like. There was about 34 million people who were under severe weather watches. So that was the most of all America experienced this some way, shape, or form. Some places got hit more than others. How many states got hit with how many states got hit with a tornado this weekend from March 14th to 16th? And they're saying here at least 7 states. Primarily northern states. With a record-breaking blizzard. The southern side of the system triggered a severe weather outbreak that produced over 24 tornadoes. Missouri got an EF1 tornado. Kentucky, it's the same. Indiana. Confirmed tornado activity caused damage and fatalities in towns like Village, Illinois, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama. Yeah, so they're not mentioning this. Esau, I don't know why Esau and your American news are not mentioning these things that are happening. That's so that people can't see the power of the Lord that He's portraying out here. But if it was some Satan worshiping and them glorifying them touching kids, they would show that shit, bro. Show what the fuck the Lord is doing to your stupid ass country, man. Your wicked ass state, man. They're not gonna show that because they are not men. Of the stock of men. This is Jeremiah 14:11. Then the Lord said to me, do not pray for the well-being of this people. 12. Although they fast, I will not listen to their cry. Though they offer burnt offerings. This is on down. I will destroy them with the sword, famine, and plague. Amos 4 and jumping down to verse 9. Many times I struck your gardens and vineyards, destroying them with blight and mildew. So this is what the Lord is doing. Locusts devour your fig and olive trees. The plagues, the Lord sending plagues, locusts. Yet you have not returned to me, declares Yahweh. Messiah 10. I sent plagues among you, as I did to Egypt. I killed your young men with the sword, along with your captured horses. I filled your nostrils with the stench of your camps. Yet you then have not returned to me, declares Yahweh. 11. I overthrew some of you as I overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. You were like a burning stick snatched from the fire, yet you have not returned to me, declares the Lord. And it's no coincidence because we're nearing our Passover as well. It just came to my mind. The Spirit just came to my mind. And it makes sense because we're almost, it's not even the Passover yet, 2 weeks from our Passover right now, which is on like March 1st, I believe, on Wednesday, the 14th of the new first month is coming up. This Sabbath is gonna mark the end of the 12th month. This is really the 12th month, nearing the end of it. Passover is on the 1st to the 14th. And so it's no coincidence the Lord is doing this. This is Exodus 32 and verse 10. Now leave me alone so that my anger may burn out against them and that I may destroy them. Then I will make you into a great nation. This is what the Lord is doing. This was back in Exodus 32 and 10. This is Exodus 16 or Exodus 6 verse, I'll start at 11. Go tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to let the sons of Israel, the king of Egypt today is your wicked elites. Let the sons of Israel go out of his land. And on this time we ain't asking them to get us out of the land. The Lord is going to get us himself. We're asking the Lord to get us out of the land. The Lord himself is going to go on to get us out of this Egypt. And the last Egypt, we had to ask Pharaoh to let us go. And on this side, we're asking the Lord to let us go, showing you how far we done fell off. But Moses spoke before the Lord, saying, behold, the sons of Israel have not listened to me. And back in that Egypt, they got out within the span of weeks, months. This Egypt, we've been prophesying for years. The Lord hasn't delivered us yet, showing you because the gravity of our sins, how far we fell. Behold, the sons of Israel have not listened to me. How then will Pharaoh listen to me? For I am unskilled in speech. 13. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron and gave them as charge to the sons of Israel and to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring the sons of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So this was the Lord telling Moses to go tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to let the sons of Israel go out of his land. This is 2 Kings 4, verse 2 Kings 4 and 39. One of the young men went out into the field to gather herbs and came back with a pocket full of wild gourds. He shredded them and put them into the pot, not without realizing they were poisonous. So you could speculate this is because there was a scarcity of food. That's why they even ate wild vines, herbs in that time, and in that account there. 2 Kings 6 and 24. Sometime later, however, King Ben-Hadad of Aram mustered his entire army and besieged Samaria. As a result, there was a great famine in the city. The siege lasted so long that a donkey's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver and a cup of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. This is in 2 Kings 6 and 24. I think this is also in... No, I don't think that's... Yeah. Exodus 4 and 17. That says in Exodus, during the Passover, this Passover is about to come up, and thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. Yeah, and don't forget, a couple of weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, we had a blood moon. Around the same time, a week before that, you had 5 earthquakes hit the South Carolina, and that's just adding on to what I recently spoke on, what the Lord's doing. Exodus 7 and 17, thus saith Yahweh, and this thou shalt know that I am the power of Yahweh. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And that's what the signs represented. The signs represented the waters turning red, frogs, plaguing the place, plague of lice, the plague of the livestock, killing all the livestock. Eventually, the last 2 plagues, the plague of darkness and the plague of the firstborn. Exodus 8 and 5, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying unto Aaron, stretch forth thine hand over thy rod, over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up out of the land of Egypt. Jumping down to verse 16, Exodus 8:16, and the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land, that they may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. Come on. And so that rod represented the power of the Lord, because the Lord told Moses, this is what you're going to use to make my signs. Those signs ultimately represented that the Lord wasn't happy with his people in the condition that they were in, and that he was going to, with that same power that he was showing Pharaoh, he was going to magnify himself. So with the same power right now, with this word, that rod today represents this word, this truth, and the power the Lord's doing right now. And you can argue these elites are causing these plagues as well, because nowadays they got the dew weapon. That's hence why he was trying to be like the Most High. And so on this side now, the Lord is really doesn't care for people to know his name. He's just going to destroy this place. The Lord is ultimately going to send the plague of the missiles here, which either way is of the Lord, because the Lord's going to use the nations to make the missiles, he's using Esau to send these plagues as well. Which the first one was the plague of the water turning to blood, the second was the frog, third was lice, fourth the flies, fifth the livestock, sixth plague was the boils, then the hail, the eighth was the locusts, 9 the darkness, and then the 10th final plague was the death of the firstborn. So after the Lord got finished destroying them economically, their health and their economics and their food supply, then the Lord to finalize it, the Lord freed his people and then destroyed their armies. The same thing the Lord is going to do with this on this side. He's going to kill this place, America, financially, and not just America, but everywhere. Mexico and Canada is going to be affected by this war. Every part in all the earth where people live, they're going to be affected by this. The motherfuckers living in Alaska are going to be affected by this. And I just speculate they're going to be shooting missiles over there too, and just for fun, because they could, like Trump said recently, just for fun, he's going to shoot rockets at Iran. And these nations are going to be shooting other parts of, if they're allied of that country, at them as well, just for fun. And because unlike the last plagues, the Lord in this side, the Lord's plaguing everywhere. He's plaguing every place, and he's not stopping. It's not pausing. It's not pausing, and it's lasting a bit longer. So in that sense, it's kind of a bit more greater than the plagues of Egypt. It's just the plagues of Egypt, though, is not going to happen again like it happened back in Moses' time, because you ain't seeing no locust and on that scale, not on that scale. You haven't seen it on that scale ever, and that's in the scriptures. In case you don't know, So yeah, bro. Oh, that's on there, and that's on there, and you can read about that. And come on. But yeah, just like on the last Exodus, this Exodus, the Lord's going to, after destroying all of that, in the firstborn, he's going to destroy their arm. He's going to free us first, and then destroy their army, and then bring us to the promised land. And on this side, though, us getting to the promised land ain't even going to take a day. It's going to be on the same day we are delivered. That's what makes this Exodus, this was going to make this Exodus greater than the last one. And what's going to make this Exodus greater than the last one is the deliverance, the bodies, us being actually, our hearts perfect to keep the laws, statutes, commandments. In the last Exodus, we are only given the commandments while we were in the Mount Sinai. Sinai actually means incomplete. It means a desert. And it's also mentioned as Mount Horeb, which, if I'm not mistaken, means thorny. Or either it means thorny or it means incomplete desert. So yeah, both of those mean that on this side we're gonna get the laws inside of us as we're delivered at the same time. Even though on this Exodus is taking a bit longer. Not as long as when Noah was preaching though. When Noah prophesied, that took about like 100 years to us. We're on like the 50th year of preaching this word. But when Moses was on the scene, that didn't take. I don't even think that took more than a year. When the first plague started, it was only months after that, or it could have been days after that, and then the Lord delivered them. It doesn't really mention. I'm looking it up. It says it took several months to less than a year, rather than several years, before Pharaoh released the Israelites. So the 10 plagues occurred over a relatively short period, and that several months to less than a year, and so they were consecutive. 7 days for water to turn to blood, 3 days of darkness, and they played a rapid succession of events. Yeah, so when Moses came on the scene, yeah, they were in the wandering, that prophecy of 500 years, or from which that really goes from Abraham to Moses once they got out of Egypt. That's what that goes back to, the 400 years. So really, they could have been in Egypt for maybe 300 years. This captivity took longer. We've been here for like more than 500 years, 600 years plus, starting from even as the early, really, he started where they put his foot down around 1620. That was when we really got. Yeah, so we've been here for about roughly more than 400 years, close to about 500 years, really. You can argue, but Esau really officially got his hold on us around official year 1620. 3 days and a half, so it equals a prophetic 350 years. So the truth in this word came out. But Esau was already starting to fuck us up Northern Kingdom up around as early as the 1500s. 1492, the Aztecs were taken down. Those were Israelites. It wasn't until as early as the the earliest Europeans' presence began in 1492. When did the first Europeans come? The first enduring Spanish colony was established at St. Augustine in Florida in 1565. So as early as the 1500s, that was when Esau, because Esau already had hold of the papacy near Italy around the early 1500s. Really, he got his foot hold on that around the early 1300s, because that's around the same time. In Constantinople, those were Jakes that fell around. I want to say early 1500, late 1400s. Yeah, 2020 was like the 400th year. So you can kind of argue this is around about the same time. But really, once again, Israel probably wasn't in Egypt for more than about, because remember, you had Abraham. How long did Abraham live? About 100 years. Isaac lived about 100 years. So this is just going into some history. Isaac lived about 180 years. Abraham lived about 175 years. He got that promise like when he was 100. So you're not even adding that. And then you're not even counting the years Jacob lived. Jacob lived about 147. So altogether, we're gonna add that up. Jacob lived about 147. Isaac lived about 180. We're gonna add it 180, 147, and 75 just for good measure. Now that is about 400. Genesis 15 and 13. Then the Lord said to him, know for certain that at 400 years your descendants will, that for 400 years the descendants will be strangers in the country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. Genesis 15:13. But I will punish the nation, 14, but I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come with great possessions. 16, in the fourth generation your descendants will come back, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure. So I googled AI, how long were the Israelites in Egypt? Was it 400 years as prophesied in Genesis 15, 13, and 14? The Israelites were in Egypt for a total of 430 years as stated in Exodus 12, 40 to 41. Let's look that up. Exodus 12, 40 to 41. Now the length of the time the Israelites people lived in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of the 430 years to the very day, all the Lord's divisions left Egypt. Okay, so all right, so I'm mistaken. Yeah, so they were in Egypt for about 400 years, and then the Lord delivered them. So I had to correct myself there. And so we've been in America for about 400 years, actually. So history repeats itself. 2020 marked the 400th year. From 1620 to 2020, that was the 400th year. So we're like on the 400th in the 6th year. So I mean, with that, that's the point. So that's pretty interesting there. That's because the scripture does say this, that which has been is that which shall be. So it would make sense. I just wanted to try to make the contrast of how worse this captivity was, though, because in a way it is true, because when it, at least back in that Egypt, when Joseph first came in there, they were probably doing all right for the first 100 years. So that would have taken some time for them to have forgotten Joseph and then started treating the Israelites best. So you can argue for the first 300 years at least, in that kingdom, they were treated actually pretty fairly, better, and were able to keep their laws, and they knew the name Yahweh. But in this captivity is way worse, showing you how much worse the Lord had to fuck us up, because then in this captivity we didn't get the name, and we didn't have the prophecies. No prophets were up in that time, and we were just straight. When we got here, we got treated like, maybe not me personally, but my ancestors got treated like garbage, like, and certain brothers treated as garbage, as spittle. Because I don't think I personally was brought in the ship and had to suffer that type of torture, but through my sea line, my inheritance, I'm my people, based off who my people are, I can say my nation was a victim to that. So yeah. Certain of the prophets didn't have to suffer that type of torment. There's probably brothers, very few brothers though, who personally went through on those ships, experienced those ships. Me myself, I don't think I've experienced being on those ships, like that black bitch said. But God, with that, that's the point. Shalom and a ball. Hopefully this is edifying. And Russia will be involved, right? Cool.